Welcome to another Biddle on Saturday night. Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Hello.
I participated.
We before the show we had a nice conversation on weather and how cold it was compared to everybody's location. So our conversations beforehand and afterwards are pretty cool. You should join sometime and listen in. But anyway, where is Simon?
He's coming. He's coming.
Oh, there he is. He's in the waiting room. There. I was going to say, how can we start the show without him?
That is so
Waiting for us.
All right. Is the everybody in the chat, is the stream sound, audio, everything good? Nobody's echoing?
Mine's just buffering.
Yeah, I turned mine.
Oh, no, we're back again now.
We're back.
If it's all good, we'll continue on because I have a tendency to miss something sometimes, and then
seems to be all good now.
All right. So let's well, I can't do nothing about the buffering. I mean, that's nothing that I can do anything about, but as long as the sound is good. So, Simon, where are you at?
I'm here.
Okay.
If I can figure just getting set up here,
Are you having trouble with Ubuntu there?
It's hard to use a webcam on Ubuntu,
No, I guess what I do is no, shut up. I basically disconnect my microphone and my my webcam after everything I do. So, sometimes it's me remembering, I have to reconnect, and then up to be type B, you have to switch the thing around 10 different times to actually get the thing to work.
You know where you don't have to do that?
Well, type C, but I don't have type C on this computer. I only have type B.
I'm just kidding you, dude.
Shush. Well, okay. I'm probably gonna have to leave and come back so it can detect my webcam. I'll be right back.
Okay, you come right back. All right.
I remember one time on Solus, I went to scan a document and it thought my webcam was a scanner.
Oh, I got
nice.
Yeah.
You can try that. I don't know how well that'd work for you.
Completely, absolutely, 100%.
It's good now? You good now, Simon?
He's on elementary OS now, so
yeah, he booted into elementary. See how quick that was?
Are we live? Are we live?
We are live.
We're on.
Yep.
You can't say bad things to me. We're live, Simon.
I was gonna say.
He was thinking about it though, wasn't he?
I was.
He was, seriously.
There, this audio should be a little bit better then.
Okay, so we all, I believe, I don't know if we all did. Everybody try Ubuntu Next or Ubuntu Daily Image?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 1810 alpha. Yep.
Yes.
Cosmic Cuttlefish, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
It's tough.
By the way, if you're in Wisconsin, Quick Trip always, 100% of the time.
Quick Trip?
KWIK. Not.
I guess that's like
the other one.
I guess that's like a Wawa in Pennsylvania.
I don't know.
Or Sheets.
Wow.
That's a Wawa.
It's a local.
It's a PA thing. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's a PA
about it.
thing.
Yeah, they have some strange stuff in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Agreed. I can't deny that.
Speaking of that, I was actually.
You can't deny it, Rocco.
No, I can't. Sorry.
This past Tuesday through Thursday, I was in Portland, Oregon, to do some GPG key signings so I could become a Debian developer.
How does the Californian barbecue smell, Simon?
Seriously? So I was there for exactly 48 hours. So I flew out. I got there at like 4 p.m. Tuesday on Portland time. And then I flew back. I got to the airport by 4 p.m. to take off. But the sky was literally, you could not see anything. It was just all smoke in the sky. By the end of it, I had a sore throat.
Oh, I bet.
Like as soon as I got on the plane, my sore throat was gone. So I'm like, it has to be the smoke.
Oh, yeah. The entire state of California is on fire.
And that's moving east, by the way, guys. That smoke.
I'm in Idaho, so we get a lot of it.
Yeah, it'll eventually hit us because it's flat until it hits central New York State.
Chip has a message for you in chat, Barb. Just saying.
Who?
Throwing it out there. Chip.
Oh.
I might.
And of course, we've got the Twilight Zone. Rod Serling, what do you want? I live in the outer limits because I'm 2 miles from the PA border.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
That is
Simon, the Discover has been fixed this morning, I noticed. The top right-hand corner buttons.
Let me try opening Discover here to see if I can reproduce anything.
He's never used it.
It's been fixed.
I'm going to be honest with you. I have not used Discover as much as I should.
I don't need
There's nothing wrong with not using Discover, Simon.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's perfectly okay.
It's like,
Yes.
let me blame the plasma people for that. Like,
Yeah.
just blame Katie.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Blame Michael Tennell.
Agreed.
It's working.
Michael.
You said the right-hand buttons, just
Yeah,
open.
where you check for updates, and then when the updates come through, you can.
They were early on. Yeah, they're fixed now.
It's fixed now. That's what I'm saying. It's working.
Okay.
But your
Okay.
login screen, you got buttons on top right-hand corner. They're off screen. You can't, and they overlap. There's a couple of things overlapping. You can't really do much with that. So I think I mentioned it to you in Telegram, but you may have been busy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I saw that ping, but I did see the ping about NVIDIA graphics cards. I have this laptop right next to me that has an NVIDIA graphics card in it. But
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
yeah, I should see. This
I actually
laptop cover with stickers here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what this is. An MSI GT60. So it has an
NVIDIA
NVIDIA GeForce GTX 870M. That's what it says on there.
I just want to know why you don't have a Big Daddy Linux live sticker on there.
Because you never sent me one.
Okay.
Bad question, Rocco.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, whoops.
All right, so I tried.
I have
Ubuntu.
stickers because he gave me them himself.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, then I'm definitely. Then you need to send me your address, and I'll get you some stickers.
Oh, I good idea.
Okay. So I did try Ubuntu, and I wrote down a lot of different things, but half of these things I already sent to Simon in Telegram, and half of them are already worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were just issues that the settings weren't correct.
One thing though that Zeb doesn't know is auto login as of a couple days ago is fixed. But if you installed before a couple days ago and you used auto login, then the default session on login used almost like a teal like LXQT background, and then like the default theming and everything, and it just doesn't do the settings right, because when it copies from I don't know if you know at all about how settings work in Linux, but it copies from a specific location called the XDG location. It's a one-time copy. So if those files already exist and you log into the Ubuntu session, those files are there, and the configuration that we curate will not be overwritten. That's something I'm going to look into upstream and see if we can do something like that. Like if somebody uses the default settings, they should be able to, either when they switch sessions or something like that, have like a profile of some sort. But a couple releases out, that'll be.
So if I use the nightly tomorrow, then it should all be okay, yeah?
The auto login should be okay. I had Walter Lapchinsky. He's my partner in crime. He was sort of working on that. So
Cool. All right, I'll try that in the morning then. Well, it is the morning now, but I'll try that a little bit later.
all right.
All right, so these are the couple things that I wrote down. One, by default, the notifications are set at the top.
Yeah, I personally on my computer I moved that, and I'm thinking it was a default when we. So how that came to be, the default LXQT notification is in the bottom right, which is what I'm used to and what I think a lot of other people are used to. But somehow I think when I copy the OpenBox settings from the LXDE Ubuntu and they customize them all, which is sort of why you might see. I know Zeb was telling me about the whole when he turned on the OpenBox menus instead of PCMan FM when you right click the desktop.
Yeah.
There's a couple things in there that says LX session not found. That's because we copy that config right from our LXD Ubuntu. So there's still a little couple things that I have to tweak there, and that's one of them. So that's personally on my radar now that you mention it, because it is a little bit annoying to me. I guess I just never thought twice about it, but. Yeah.
Well, I mean that's why we tested it. It's just because these little things, more eyes on it. But you would think that the notifications would be default wherever the panel is. So if the panel's at the top, the notifications should be at the top. Okay. If the panel's at the bottom, which it is, then the notification should be at the bottom.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna have to correct Simon there. You said bottom right. I'm sorry. I get all my notifications at the top because no.
So Rocco, I have a question about how I would implement this. So if the panel, so let's say you have multiple panels, like would you have to select a panel as like a main panel or something like that? Or how would it work if you had panels on all four sides. Like, how would you think that should work?
I would. I mean, I don't know how you would. I don't know how you would work it as far as how you would want to do it, but I would think that you would say the default for the system is one panel at say you went with the one panel at the bottom. That's the default.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to add 4, they can add 4 or add more on each side, but it would still be the default wherever the system says it's the default.
Right. So if you pop open, I'll do this on my system because I'm running it right now. So if you go to open box settings and then you do
I seen in there where you could change the location of the notifications.
yeah, you could. I forget in which open box settings thing it was.
I'm just more saying about the default of it.
Right.
When you open more than one panel, are they numbered like 1, 2, 3, 4? So the default is
yes,
always the first panel.
I believe so.
Yeah, so the notifications just follow wherever you've chosen to put panel number 1.
Right. See, I could see doing that, but then it's like left or right on that. Like on the left side or the right side. Like I'm not. You can set it to pick up right in the middle of the screen. I don't want to do that.
That depends on if you want to use GNOME or Chaos.
But
Chaos is just a joke.
Upper right is Which I think
I would think the right side. Yeah. I would think the right side, even if it was on the bottom, you'd still want to come in from the right
still
side.
want it on the right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that way it stays out of the way of most anything else that you're working with.
So what happens if I have my first panel horizontally on the left? Why would I want my notifications on the right?
Well, then you'd probably want it on the bottom, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily if it's tied to the panels. That doesn't make sense though, because just by creating or moving a panel doesn't necessarily mean your notifications should also move, because some people because then you're kind of forcing that to change with it. But if you're expecting your notifications to be in one place or you want them somewhere else, that should be a change you make independently of the panel.
Yeah.
Well, you can make it independently.
Yeah, but
I'm more concerned about the default location.
Default, yeah.
So what I'm saying is when you boot into the system, it's not going to be changed.
Right.
So the default location, if the default location for the panel is at the bottom, that's where the notification should be. If they decide to put the the panel at the top for the default, then that's where the notifications should go. If somebody wants to change and add panels, move panels, I don't care what it does.
The notification should stay put.
I'm more concerned about what the default is.
Right.
Because that's what people are going to see for the first time of your distro.
Defaults are king.
Okay.
Yeah. What happened to your camera, dude? Are you like artsy?
Prophetic.
Pixelated.
Your video's gone well.
Oh, yeah. Is it?
Welcome to 1989.
So
He's an alien.
I was trapped in a FOSCon demo, and now they won't let me back in. Let me
This is
restart
what Shades of the movie Contact.
It's like
all right, so
Everything was in the message.
no super key support, Simon.
I'm telling you, it's close. It's really
Simon,
close.
You promised.
I did promise. It should be default. If it's not default, there's a problem there.
Are we dissecting Lubuntu?
We are dissecting
We are.
Ubuntu. I'm just throwing out my thoughts on it. There's a 6-character password like Solus rather than it makes you do a 6-character password.
Right. We just corrected that. Walter was just working on correcting that because we had a discussion. Originally, me and Walter were like, okay, we should sort of push for secure passwords by default. And then we realized some people set Lubuntu up and I don't know. Some people, I've heard of kiosks, I've heard different places, and
It should always be suggested, but never enforced.
Right. So that's the consensus we got from the mailing list. So Walter went to the mailing list and asked, and the Lubuntu Devel mailing list, by the way, if you want to go to list.ubuntu.com/lubuntu-devel, you can subscribe there and get these sort of notifications for.
I'm there as well, so you guys can harass me.
I thought I'd gone back to Windows this morning when I was trying to set my password, and it says, "Oh, you must have 8 characters." And then I thought, well, okay, I'm going to beat this password. Oh, it doesn't beat the alphabetical test or something. And it was like, really?
Etsy Calamares modules users.conf before you do that.
You could also just sudo password username and then it'll change.
Which is exactly what I do on Solus.
Yeah.
Solus does the same thing.
That's actually why I don't use
minimum
Fedora.
of 5.
It makes me do that.
Yeah.
So
That's the
what
first thing.
what we're actually looking to implement is something where if your password doesn't match, we're thinking of something along the lines of maybe even just whether it's a suggestion or a pop-up box or something like that to say, look, your password's not secure. Should be secure in most cases, but we'll leave that up to you.
What,
Something like that works.
I was using a system recently. I don't remember which one it was, but it actually, when you put in a password like that, say if it was just like 6 numbers in a row, it wouldn't stop you from continuing, but it would let you know that the password should be like a certain length or a certain type of password, and then like a few seconds would pass, and then the thing would show up. So, I don't know, maybe.
Just to trick you. Say, haha.
But within the next nightly or two, that's going to be resolved. So you won't have to have a password anymore. Although you really should have a secure password. Like,
yeah,
come on, people. It's 2018.
Right.
Like, I could
My
personally,
passwords are never less
say
than
you should
70 characters.
Yeah, but you're talking about people,
My
like some
password-
people are going to use a desktop that nobody's ever going to have access to. So for those people, I mean, if you're having a laptop and you're taking it places and everything and you're leaving it places or whatever, that's, definitely should have a secure password. But certain situations don't require such
Sometimes it's a demo
security.
as well. Like if you're recording a video, that can make it.
That's what we didn't initially consider, but now we're going to correct it for that. But my passwords are anywhere between 32 and 64 characters. Each
Okay,
password.
Michael Tennell. Thank you very much.
Mine is 128.
No, but for company passwords, I put it between 128 and 256.
Oh my God.
Simon does not want to be on those like articles that come out. Like Ubuntu Release Manager was easily hacked, and he's going to be the last guy to that happens.
My boss, Noah Chalaya, he hates me when I do that. I will have this long password, and he's like, "Dude, come on."
I thought he would love you for that because he's like really big on like solid practice. Like
yes,
that.
but he's big on security, but he's also big on practicality.
I won't see our password policy, but it's a little less basic or a little more basic than 128 characters. I'm going to say that.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah,
a minimum of 6 characters, probably.
Yeah.
All right. So the menu itself has a search, which is great.
Yes.
But
he's gonna fix it, Rocco.
But
he already knows.
This has already been fixed because it really wasn't an issue. It wasn't a bug. But when you would go to type in the search and say you would type in LibreOffice and you would then open LibreOffice, you would then go back to the to the menu, and that search would still be sitting there. You'd actually have to clear it.
If it's not fixed, it's a problem.
So, there's a setting in the menu itself to clear it after every time that it closes. So, but that should be on by default, in my opinion, because that's the normal behavior.
It should be on by default.
Yeah, no,
well, it wasn't.
Colin, was it on by default for you?
It was not on by default for me.
Was it for you, Colin, or Zeb?
When I open LibreOffice now and I open it back up, it's cleared. So, and I haven't changed anything for that. So.
I can't remember because this morning's ISO was so bad that I just gave up, and I'm going to wait for tomorrow's one. So I'll test that with the search tomorrow, whether or not it's set up as default.
What was up with the ISO? Was it just the graphics problems you were talking about?
Yeah, the screenshot that I sent you, there were so many screen glitches. I thought, no, this is obviously just every now and again you're going to get a bad one, so I'll test it again in the morning.
So, Simon, when you go into the settings and you have all these, you have a lot of settings to change the appearance, change the window effects, and it'll tell you, like, there's slider bars to change the opacity, and it'll tell you that, in order to have this, you need to turn compositing on. But it doesn't, like, there's nowhere to say where the compositing setting is.
Mm-hmm.
There should be something.
Yeah. Because what you do, I'll do it on my system. You go to open the menu, you go to Preferences, execute settings, and it should be in Session settings where you go and you switch on Compton.
Yes.
That's the compositing they're talking about.
Well, I had so many issues. I had screen tearing. I had put transparency on my panels they were completely black, opaque. I had all kinds of issues. Falcon was crashing every time I would open YouTube.
That's because it's Falcon, Rocco.
Well, and then I installed the NVIDIA drivers, and the whole system just started freaking out. I mean, it pegged my CPU at 100% every 5 seconds for about 15 seconds.
Really?
And then it would release it, and then it would peg it again, and it would release it, and it was all this. It was a what do you call it? Display, SDDM, the display manager.
Yeah, then I remember responding and asking you to try the Kubuntu ISO because Kubuntu is the only other flavor that uses CDM. And if it's a problem, if you have the same exact thing in Kubuntu, then I can go to upstream SDDM and be like, "What's up, guys?" But
well, see, that's the thing. Once I turned on Compton, everything started working right. You got the opacity. You got Falcon stopped crashing. I didn't have my CPU pegged. So what I'm saying is there should be an easier way, or there should be somewhere to tell people this is like if there's going to be an item in the menu that says this requires compositing, there should be an easy way to get to that compositing setting to find it and turn it on. Right. And somehow it should be connected somehow, whether the compositing setting is in that menu or if there's a link in that menu to where the compositing setting is, something.
Yeah.
So after that happened, it worked great, Simon.
So in terms of alpha, we always know alphas are always rough, but for alpha, was it a little rougher than normal?
No, not for an alpha.
No.
Okay, because I played around with it, and it was a breeze for me. I was very happy, but I don't have NVIDIA. I don't have those issues. I don't have a General Intel, so I don't really expect any problems. I know, right?
I'm almost wondering if I should enable Compton by default. I looked at the ArchWiki. Of course, the ArchWiki, the all-knowledgeable source for things. I looked on there, and they said there was some edge cases that might not work correctly, so...
Well, some people, I don't think it should be on by default because some people might not want the effects. They might not want the transparency, so that may not affect them at all. So I don't think you need it by default. There just should be something to let you know where it is and how to get to it to turn it on.
A lot of it can depend on the compositor you're using as well. Like, is Compositor just the one is Compton just the one that's built into it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
upstream Alex Cute has a Compton conf, in our upstream umbrella, but you can use any compositor that's compatible with OpenBox.
Okay, so quite a few. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of them are dead though, which is really surprising. We switched to port because we're gonna do Wayland with Mir, which is the thing that I couldn't say anything about, but now I can. So I'm working with the Waybox folks, and so we're gonna try and see if we can revive Compton with that as well. See if there's, because I don't think they've had an upstream commit since 2017. But you were gonna say something, Colin, or?
I was gonna say. Default, you should have like the Windows. I can't remember where it was now. Windows retain. What was it? So when you move your window, you resize your window. It actually has a black background instead of keeping the. That's not on by default. It'd be nice to see that on.
That's Compton, though.
That's what the compositor does.
That's all part of compositing.
No, I understand exactly what he's talking about. It's not Compton.
Oh, is he?
No, it's not Compton.
No, I understand exactly what he's talking about. It's an OpenBox configuration item.
Yeah.
OpenBox does that?
OpenBox, so if you resize a window, on my screen, I have this screen here and I have one screen up here. When I resize a window and I have that option turned on, it takes like 10 seconds to resize the window. It is horrible. I turn that on and it's a breeze.
That's so weird.
It is so weird.
You didn't have that much trouble like drawing over it.
Exactly. So there's a configuration option in OpenBox that it says instead of just drawing that, instead of just redrawing it, it just draws like a little. It's like a little gray space. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Nice.
Yeah, that should be on by default, I believe.
You said it was on by default, or
no,
was not on?
I think it should be. That way, when people are resizing Windows, it just retains
It
the.
looks terrible, but works great.
So
yeah, it's under the OpenBox settings under move. What's And there's another thing. I can't resize the little left-hand side screen in OpenBox, so you can't see what the whole category is. Move and something. Update the window contents while resizing. That's the one. Yeah, it's not on by default.
It's it shouldn't be on by default because, like I said, if you have a bigger screen, it makes it tear.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I might refactor that, but for now it's just a matter of it doesn't work correctly, so we don't enable it. That was also a setting we had back from LXD Ubuntu. I remember switching that on and just playing with it on my system for like about a week actually. And I just found that configuration option made resizing windows a pain because this is 1024 by 768. No. I have that glued in my head. 1024 by 768. No, this is a 1080p monitor. This is 13 something. I don't remember.
1366 by 768 is the standard.
Yeah.
It's like
That's what
720p.
this monitor is. So on both of them, in fact, if I take this zoom window over here to this monitor that's sitting up here, and
Don't do it.
Also known as Standard Definition Plus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Don't do it.
So, Rocco, are you going to let them know what Dreaming Wolf wanted to report back, or should I do that?
You know what, Seb? If you got it up, you can let them know. Sure.
Yeah, okay. So Dreaming Wolf, who's normally here with us, David, sent an email through because he wanted you to get his feedback, Simon.
Okay.
So point number one is the new Ubuntu installed and ran sweet as could be expected, but for two minor things. On my system, Ubuntu flavors still install boot files to the first available SATA drive that contains an EFI partition. So like he's got four, let's say you've got 4 SATA drives and they've all got EFI. If you tell it to boot to SDB, Dave is saying is it always installs to SDA, because the EFI section of it.
Sure, I'll play around.
He doesn't know whether that's an upstream problem or specific to.
No, it's not even an upstream problem because we use Calamares. Ubiquity and Debian installer were the 2 installers. Ubiquity is heavily based off of Debian installer. It has a lot of code just baked into it. But Calamares completely rewrites everything from scratch. So if there's a problem there, then I don't believe it's Ubuntu specific unless there's a grub thing that's specific. So
he mentioned it last week.
Say again?
He mentioned it last week, and he was having this problem with other Ubuntu-based distros as well.
It was only Ubuntu.
Last 2 weeks.
Then I did some testing on my machine with 4 different SATA drives, some hard drives and some SSDs, and I couldn't replicate it at all. So
Neither could I. Neither could I.
So then, is it worth the trouble if I were to?
It might be worth looking into, but I don't particularly think it's tied to anything.
Okay.
And then the third item he wanted to talk about was your favorite word, NVIDIA. When I install the NVIDIA drivers, the login screen locks, though the mouse and keyboard will respond. If I take them back out, everything is fine again. Not sure whether it's an issue with Ubuntu, SDDM, or user error. So I have hesitated to submit a bug report.
Wait, could you say that last part one more time?
He says, when I install NVIDIA drivers, the login screen locks, though the mouse and keyboard still respond. If I take them back out, everything is fine again. So I'm not sure whether it is an issue with Ubuntu, SDDM, whatever that is, or user error. So he's not submitted a report. So I think he's going to go and revisit that one.
Right. In fact, I would encourage him to, because if it's the one thing that I could tell him to do, and I could tell anybody to do if they have problems with the login manager, is test if it works in the Ubuntu in the Kubuntu daily. If it works in the Kubuntu daily and it does not work in the Ubuntu daily, there's a discrepancy there, and it's my problem. But if it does not work in the Kubuntu daily as much as it does not work in the Ubuntu daily, then it's an upstream problem.
And I noticed some updates came through on SDDM as well during the week.
Because
so
with the whole,
maybe his problem's
right.
fixed.
So if you were running, the Ubuntu daily updated within the past couple days, the whole entirety, the whole big blob that was Qt 511 migrated.
Mhm.
So it had to be a good 500-600 packages that came with that.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Which includes a newer SDDM, which includes I thought not a newer Falcon. A couple different bug fix things. For example, now Q terminal recognizes the maximization state. So if you start Q terminal, if you maximize it, it used to, when you close Q terminal, it would not remember the maximization state. Now it does. So little tweaks like that. I think we also have in LXQ panel, the spacer has now like an auto expand option. So you don't have to set a set value. You can just throw a spacer in there and say, I want it to auto expand to whatever given space I have. So little things like that we've been baking in, and then it was just all stuck with Qt, and it all came through at once.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice.
Something in that update, maybe with SDDM. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm going to take a peek real quick see if there's any SDDM upstream commits that happened since that release, which was 0.18 is what was uploaded. So see, it says there's 3 commits to develop since this release, which means that doesn't look like there was anything relevant to the problems I've been seeing. Just some updated C++ stuff. And
well, while he's checking that out, Zeb, what'd you think of it?
What did I think of Ubuntu? It's an awful lot better than it was when they were trying to present Ubuntu Next, as you used to call it.
I would agree.
First putting out the LXQT. It is something that I could quite easily now use as my daily driver. Because the thing that was putting me off before was just sort of like the general aesthetics and the feel for it. But for me, the Breeze themes and the Breeze icon sets, they're just perfect. It works really, really well. And once you get used to the little idiosyncrasies that it's bringing on board, you install it, it works. It just works straight out of the box. So, yeah, for me, it's as long as you can get the initial login screens working with more than one monitor. But then Shikin is saying that he didn't have a dual monitor problem, and neither did Rocco on login. So whether it's something unique to my weird setup, I'm not sure. But I have to disable my 2 other displays to be able to install it.
So, Chicken, are your other displays 4K?
So I've got one 1440p and then one's 1080.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe it had to do with your 4Ks, but if
when I used it on my laptop connected to other displays, I also didn't have the issue, and the laptop display is 4K.
Yeah, I haven't. Canonical has not gotten back to me with my request for a 4K monitor. Hey, I did.
Shocking, huh?
The request. I met a guy in Portland who was going to send me one, but I haven't heard back from him either.
I could probably manage that.
But yeah, I have a dual monitor set up. One thing that bites me personally is I don't know if you noticed on dual monitors, Zeb, but the wallpaper stretches across all of the the.
That's the one thing I forgot to say. Your management of wallpaper, and I do apologize, sucks.
I agree with you. I tried for like a whole 6-hour period to try and figure out what was going on. And so I went to Upstream and I was like, what is going on here? And they're like, oh, we haven't implemented that because it would have to depend on the window manager or something like that. I'm thinking to myself, no, because LXDE did the same exact thing. You could swap in any window manager you want, and it still did it separately. So it's something we're going to look into for 1904 for sure, if not this release, because it personally bites me. And those are the things that I personally go for the most. If it bites me, yeah, there's other problems, and I understand that there's other problems, but I'm dogfooding this on all the systems I run, and if there's a problem that I'm having, you bet there's another person that's going to have the same problem.
Yeah. So what I'll have to do there is I have to choose a wallpaper that doesn't look too bad when it's tiled, because tiling it to fill the whole screen is the only thing that gives you any semblance of sanity. So
right.
That's what I do there.
Like
it's a wallpaper, for goodness sake. If you just put it to a plain color, it's fine. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I had problems with wallpaper too. It's actually bricked my machine almost. I had to reinstall because I had high.
Are you serious, Colin? A wallpaper?
The wallpaper, yeah. I was checking off the what was I doing? I was checking off how, because the wallpaper wouldn't show up that I put in there. It was an odd size, but it wouldn't show up. And I tried different selections, tiled and all that. I got to one of them, and the whole thing, just the CPU was running high. I couldn't do anything with it. And when I logged in, nothing would work. So I had to reinstall. So that was just messing with wallpaper.
Something about that bug sounds really, really familiar. I can't put my finger on it, but something about that bug. I'm going to search around for that because I've seen that bug report.
And you said to me on Telegram it was the NVIDIA, although I don't have NVIDIA hooked up because this.
To be fair, I was.
Colin, try it now for us, Colin.
Try it now.
Look at this up.
There we go. Here we go. All right, that's. Actually, I don't even think I've got that wallpaper in here because I've reinstalled.
Colin, you'll never get back, mate, if you can't log on. I was joking.
Yeah, he was kidding.
No, I'm not running on that. I'm running it on this. No, I'm running on my Linux Mint here. So
He's safe for now.
Well, before we go any further with the Ubuntu, we have a new person, Gideon. Welcome.
Welcome, Gideon.
Hi,
Gideon. And
what's going on, man?
I shouldn't be saying it, but we had an awesome email from Gideon that will actually appear in next week's show. Brilliant.
Nice.
And if Wendy can stop giggling, I don't know why, but I made a really bad mistake when I read your email. So we had to redo the whole thing. It was so funny. So I don't know what outtakes will appear, but it was an awesome email. So thanks for sending that in. That was brilliant.
That's fine.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right, Dan, what do you think of Ubuntu?
Oh, very comfortable. I could use this as a work machine and get work done for sure. A couple little minor things that I sent to Simon, but overall, very good. I'm impressed with the modernization that's taken place here. Older machines are getting newer, so
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, so why not leverage some of that and make it look decent? So.
Well, it's funny you said that, Dan, because after everything got sorted with the whole compositing issue and everything was just actually working, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah,
I could use this to get stuff done.
Yeah. I mean, looked really sharp, really sharp.
Awesome. Yeah. So we switched from about the theming. I know I was going to say something to Zeb earlier, but the theming, we switched from our in-house box theme, which, for a lightweight distro, it sort of fit the theme. It felt light. It felt just everything was white and it was lean. And so we switched to the Papyrus Icon theme, the Arc theme, Open Box, and a lot of other things. And then we switched to there's one other thing that I'm thinking. Oh, right, Breeze theme.
Breeze.
Before we used it apparently looked better with Box, but I switched that to Breeze and it looks a lot better to me. So
agreed.
Yeah, and then that reminds me, I found an upstream bug because GTK3 support isn't quite working right, but you can now configure GTK themes right from within the LXQ configuration appearance.
Sweet.
Or
nice.
Something like that. So if I pop this open on my system, I don't know if I have the update installed quite yet, but that's something that migrated with the whole Qt stack. So GTK3, if you have the latest updates today, so if you were to go in there and look, if I remember correctly, GTK3 support was not working correctly, but would be good to confirm that. Would be good to see if that's something we should look into. But if the bug gets traction before the release, then obviously we'll get that fix in.
Well, Simon, all my apps are using the best toolkit, so I could test that for you.
You mean best toolkit? or are you talking about like GTK2 or GTK1? You probably have some.
No.
GTK1.
Don't play with my heart, Simon.
All right, Prophetic. Did you try it?
Yeah, and it was just short time, but the little that I did try it, I was really impressed. I had a short stint where I was really getting I guess I must have been really annoyed with all the desktop environments I was using at the time. I was like, screw it, give me LXDE, and I was on that for 2.5 months, and it was I was actually happy with LXD in general, and then by trying this out, it was like refreshing. It's still minimalistic, gets out of the way. You actually have app indicators on the bottom right corner, and I don't know. It was just not nostalgic, but like bottom left corner, start, boom, you bang into stuff, and it starts, it's fast, it's lean, and like you said, it has that modern touch without trying to go overboard. And a great call on the themes. I'm a sucker for Falcon too, because I used to use Cubzilla a lot, and seeing that kind of reborn and being used as like the main browser makes me happy. So
see, the thing with Falcon though is I've heard from Zeb, I've had three different people report bugs about Falcon that it crashes all the time constantly. I've never been able to reproduce it, not in a virtual machine, not in any of the 3, 4, 5 machines that I have. Falcon works swimmingly for me.
Is it because the most up-to-date website you use is the Debian website?
It's as stable as the distro.
Do any of your machines have NVIDIA drivers? Is it anything to do with NVIDIA?
it has to be, because I don't have NVIDIA and it's a dream. It was great.
I almost wonder if it was tied to Qt Web Engine, because Qt Web Engine got an update from 5.9.5 to 5.11.1. So before the release, I'm working to get 5.11.2 in there, and then along with Debian Buster, I might have the 1904 release have 5.12 LTS in there, because I know we shipped Qt 5.9 in the LTS, and then from there, users of Kubuntu will benefit from this Kubuntu LTS, but we're going to work to continue publishing point releases for Qt in that LTS. So,
what's the rendering engine that Falcon uses?
Qt Web Engine.
Oh, so that's what it's. Okay.
The big thing that takes about 36 hours to build on really beefy machines that uses an embedded Chromium. So of course it has 10 CVEs a week, 10 different security problems, but it's a nightmare. So they're going to switch it from eventually they're going to switch this Qt Web Engine thing. It's sort of like Qt WebKit, except Qt WebKit sort of got a revival, was released separately. I don't know what was going on with that, but Qt Web Engine, the engine behind, there's I forget the name of it, but it's a Vim based browser that uses Qt Web Engine on the back end. For browsers like that, we want to continue shipping updates, but we don't necessarily want to be tied to a Qt release, which can take a little bit. The Qt people are notoriously infamous for delaying releases by up to 6 months. So,
I have a question, Simon. Now we know Firefox is making a comeback, so to speak, with some of their new developments. And now that you're leveraging the newer machines, you're not targeting old machines. What was the major reason to just not ship Firefox as like the main distro? Maybe have Falcon as like a secondary
because
thing.
We're going to have an option in the installer for you to choose Firefox instead of Falcon.
Oh, okay.
I've been mainly keeping this a little bit of a secret, but within the next week or two, there's going to be an option right in Calamares for you to just flip a switch. Oh, I want Firefox instead of Falcon. I want the full LibreOffice suite. We only ship a couple LibreOffice apps in there. So I want the full LibreOffice suite. I want Firefox. We'll give people the option of Chromium.
What about Chrome?
A couple things. Chrome. See, the thing is, from a distributor standpoint, do you use a PPA? Do you use the Snap? There's a Chromium Snap, but I don't know if there's
definitely
Chrome
use
Snap.
Well, the thing is, as well,
like a PPA.
Yeah.
You can't just put Chrome, or you shouldn't just put Google Chrome into a distribution, because you would then be accepting the license on behalf of the user.
That's why it's not like
PPAs around that, right?
That's why it's
yeah.
So right now, with 1810 and on, much like LexD, they are going to ship Chromium as a Snap only.
Yeah.
Which
that's unfortunate.
Not my favorite thing in the world, I'll have to admit, but
browsers in snaps in general is a poor choice.
That sounds like what you're talking about with this whole install thing and flipping the switch. That sounds like the Integral installer.
Yeah. And I think it's a great call.
So just be very careful with that, because every single Antigos install I've ever done
is broken.
Fails if I flick any of those switches.
Interesting.
So yes, we will heavily test this. Of course, we're still in alpha. We won't be in beta for another month now, but you know, when we get to beta,
when you're ready, give us a shout, and I'll definitely test it because I know it doesn't work on Antagos.
Yeah, same here.
And again, I guess I'm
Right,
lucky.
because- so
I never had
here's-
that issue.
Because here's the thing, though. With Ubuntu, I know not many people are going to test for the release because, of course, you guys test it, of course, but there's going to be those. There's always one little corner case, which is exactly why we did not do the switch for 1710 for 1804. People kept ragging us about it, like, when are you finally going to switch to this LXQt thing? You know, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, one of these days, because in all reality, it's the same reason why we're doing the Wayland switch when we are. We want to do it immediately after the LTS, so we can test it for 2 years before having to release it as an LTS.
That's a smart move.
Yeah. So that's why we're doing Wayland immediately. We're going to have, my goal is to have the complete Wayland port done, so that right after the LTS, we can flip the switch, enable that by default, and then we have 2 years to test it before the release. Because, in all honestly, I don't expect it to be perfect. I expect it to be really, really close to perfect, but it's
not with that attitude. Come on.
As long as you can get NVIDIA working with it, then you won't lose 70% of your user base.
Is it really 70%, or would you call it a little bit less than that? I don't.
Yeah,
know.
I don't think people who have NVIDIA are actually gravitating to Ubuntu.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, it's probably shifting too.
Yeah, I've got one thing, Simon, to ask you. On the PC Man FM QT version, I've got a USB connected to my modem. So when I go to network and I choose the USB that's connected to the modem, it goes directly to the root file system rather than hooking up to that modem. I have to actually type it in the path, the actual IP address to hook up to it.
You like what kind of modem?
Well, you probably wouldn't know what type it is because it's one from Australia, but it actually comes up under network, my Fritz NAS, which is what it's called. And when I double click that, it actually goes directly to the user var user temp system. It's just system files. It doesn't go to that. It doesn't take you to the modem itself.
Could you get me details over Telegram of just a couple screenshots, like details?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
That sort of thing. Because I can report a bug upstream for that because I don't have an Australian modem. You're the only person who I've met who actually has an Australian modem, so it would definitely be something to.
You're the only person from Australia we know actually exists.
There are plenty of others.
Everybody else is just a myth. Well, before we go any further,
Finally.
before we go any further, Shane was just here and he just left.
Did he go again?
I don't know. He just left. But he hasn't been on Bill for a while. He used to come on every week, but and Derek is back.
Yeah.
Is my audio working? Normally I'm concerned about audio. Is the audio okay?
Yeah. I can
it's
tell
good
you're
to
not
see you,
using
man.
free BSD.
No free BSD today, so.
It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
All right, did you happen to try Ubuntu Daily 1810 yet?
Nah, I didn't, no.
Oh.
See, the person who I'm wondering about is, did Chicken try the Ubuntu Daily?
Yeah,
we didn't get the chicken yet.
Not saying anything.
I've been using it on my laptop actually, and I've just decided not to provide you with any feedback because I'm that.
He doesn't want to make Simon cry.
Oh, great! Oh, great!
It's been really good. Those scaling capabilities of Qt are really paying off.
Are you being sarcastic? Or are you
No, they're really paying off. Like it's made it a lot easier.
Okay.
Tough to tell, right?
It is tough to tell with chicken sometimes.
So actually, I want to go through. We have a wiki document that I prepared. It's hidden in fab.lubuntu.me.
Oh, the document.
So we have. I just want to read the rough bullet list of what we're going to have in terms of features for 1904. Because we passed feature freeze, but it's probably going to be a little bit of an exception because the whole release is a feature. Like some things we still have to polish. So we're going to have Raspberry Pi images that are officially going to be part of the infrastructure. That's a 1904 goal. It was originally an 1810 goal, but it didn't pan out because it depends on a SCADA OEM support working, which is not working with this 1804 or 1810 release. Because the way that works is you install, it's like a pre-installed image, so you have to load everything on there, and then an initial setup thing has to pop up, which is literally like stage 2 of an OEM install. So you install with the regular installer, and then after a reboot, the OEM screen pops up. So one other thing that I personally have heard people really think is decent, and it's sort of like a Unity thing, but maybe like a global menu thing, but I want the HUD, because the HUD is, I've heard wonders about that thing. It wouldn't be hard to implement from what I hear. So I've looked at the code of how Monte does it. I've looked at the code, how a couple of different things, a couple of different desktop environments do it. Should not actually be that hard. So we're sort of going to go with something along those lines. It has to be implemented yet, so we'll see. And then we're going to have a graphical SCDM configuration. So if you want to configure auto login for a specific user, a bunch of different little things, you can easily do that. In fact, upstream, we're doing in LXQt, we're doing a fork of the graphical editor for it. And then we're going to have to, apparently somebody wrote it in Ruby and then decided to port it to C++, but then kept it in Ruby, kept some parts of Ruby. I don't even know how it's built, but it's apparently
not written in Java, because we know that's the best.
Oh.
Talk about a patchwork.
No, I love you, Chicken, but I hate you, Chicken.
So it's a love-hate relationship, is it? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll make it happen.
Any other thoughts on Ubuntu, Chicken?
No, I think it's really good, actually. I say no, and then I start to answer. I don't know why I do that.
It's okay, we know.
So, but I'm curious, Rocco. So you in the screenshot you gave me, or a little, I think it was just an MKV video. You had like a dock of some sort on there. So,
it was another panel that I made to look like a dock. I was trying to make a plank-like dock, because what I try to do is on whatever distro I'm on, I will try to make it look like what I'm used to using.
Elementary OS.
And that's kind of, yeah, it did kind of look like elementary. But anyway, that's my kind of litmus test for if I could use it. And so.
Because I see in your little thing. Do you mind if I forward the MKV video to the Destination Linux group?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay, I'll do that right now, and then people can see what I'm talking about. But there, it's forwarded. Yeah, it looks like you just use Simple Stream Recorder, which is what I use. Hey, it's a Qt-based program. Hey,
how dare you not use OBS? Oh my goodness.
I tried to use OBS, but that was when I was having. It took me 10 minutes to record that video.
Oh.
The video that's at like maybe 20 seconds long.
How in the world?
Because I'm just telling you, my CPU was being pegged to 100% every couple seconds, so it was like stuttering. It was very frustrating trying to create.
You can actually, for proof, you can see on his desktop OBS 100%.mp4.
Nice.
I use FFmpeg.
Oh, well, see, Chicken, you do that too, don't you?
Let's see, here's the thing, is I use FFmpeg all the time in the terminal, but like, I use that for like fiddling with already made stuff. I could record with that, but I'm not a barbarian. Come on.
I found that OBS is really heavy.
It works pretty well.
Yeah.
But okay, one more thing that I forgot to mention is that we're gonna get a new Calamares release in before the final release. Upstream, they've had some people just completely rework the whole LVM setup. So now it apparently is a lot more advanced than it used to be, and it's something that I'd be comfortable enabling by default. So
you wouldn't.
Yeah.
LVM?
No. I'm not saying check the box by default. I'm saying
I see.
Option.
Okay.
No. I'm not Pop OS who uses system deboot and then encrypted LVM by default. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say like LVM. Handling it is obviously important, but actually enabling it is.
Of course, we're gonna recommend people switch on encrypted LVM if they can, but it's if you don't need it, then if it's just a kiosk somewhere and it's something you just flash an image onto,
If it's the only thing you're going to use, LVM makes sense. If you have plans to use it for anything else, LVM will destroy your.
I can't encrypt my files because I'm a Dropbox user, and in November.
Such fake news. All right, Barb, did you try Ubuntu? Come on.
No, I
you
didn't.
did.
I didn't have
What?
I thought you were the official live USB tester.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I just didn't. I had one laptop that died, and I got another one, and I didn't have time.
Okay. Wendy, did you try it?
I didn't get a chance to try it, but I absolutely loved the conversation between Colin and Simon in the group. I loved seeing their interactions, and I love the fact that he is here and a face and a voice for Ubuntu. It's awesome.
Yes, I have to agree, Simon. It is awesome to see somebody that is working with a distro to come out into the community and talk to people and get their feedback and not just sit back.
Martin
but
would
actually invite it.
Yeah, I mean, really, if anybody has any feedback for me, I'll keep an open mind as long as it's constructive criticism and you're not one of those people on Reddit or Slashdot that just says, "Oh, your distro sucks. I hate your distro." You know,
Simon, don't make me log into Reddit.
But seriously, as long as you're one of those people that are going to give constructive criticism, I really welcome it because, you know, if there's something I can be doing better, I'm going to want to know about it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, but that's not common nowadays, Simon, just so you know.
Yeah, and we should remember that this is like we're being spoiled to some degree.
Yes.
Like this, like, and when it comes to efficiency and all that stuff like that, that's not the wisest use of time.
Yeah.
But it's like we're being spoiled, and that's, you know, it's a good thing. And then it can't happen. I'm sure it's not always sustainable, and there might be a time where Simon can't do this. So it's really awesome that he's doing
Simon
it now.
has plenty of time after he finishes Pulse Audio. He's got plenty of time.
Yeah, true.
Along with all those other things he's supposed to be doing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have another question, Simon. Now that it's going to be, you know, Qt Love, and you're not using like you know, K libraries or anything like that. Like, what's the what's the unique value or advantage that Ubuntu is going to be kind of leveraging the most?
That's something that I've sort of been chewing on. Of course, it's something lean and mean, and it gets out of the way, and you don't have a million different menus and a million different things you have to tweak to get it to your liking. Like, that's one of the things that I really don't dislike with Plasma. Sure, I guess you could say it gets out of your way, but it's really, really complex. It's really just, it sort of almost reminds me of me as a user. I really like to sit. I've used Plasma before. I've used Plasma. I was going for like 6 months, and I was thinking to myself, it just gets too complex after a while. Like, you know, I'm looking for a simple interface, just something simple and Qt based, obviously, because Qt as a framework, in my opinion, is much more solid than GTK. I love you, Chicken, but you know.
Hey, once you get that those theming capabilities up a par, and we'll be all good.
Right. I mean, the thing exists right now. It just defaults to Adapta, which we both know is not the best looking thing.
Hey.
Hey, Adapta's nice.
Material design is
Yeah,
obviously.
Adapta's fine if you're blind.
If you only want to see
What? Just
one
because
color.
you got a close button that's like this big, dude. I mean, like.
I
love it.
Yeah, but I guess I'm looking for, there's a specific competitor I have in mind that I really don't want to name, but I'm really looking to be a cute desktop that is lean and mean and can get stuff done on, and it's the goal is not to go for older machines again, because that's a little bit not sustainable, because after a while these machines die. When they get 20 years old, you can't find them anymore.
You sound like an insurance company.
Simon, you can. It's just between us. You can tell us who it is.
We're not live right now, right?
No, we're not streaming live or anything. It's just between us, dude. You can tell us.
So there is a competitor in mind that you definitely want to like kind of be competitive with, I guess you can say. But okay.
So yeah, you know, in fact, I don't really think that the competitive advantages will be clear for 1810. By the time my main target is to get Ubuntu completely usable and ready for the 2004 release. That is when I think it will have pretty much everything worked out to the point where it's to my liking, to everybody who else, it's to the liking of a lot of different people. And that would really be my goal. That was the whole goal of doing this right after an LTS release, is so that we could use the next 2 years. Yeah, we'll have a couple stable releases in here that work enough, but there's still going to be a couple different things that, I'm okay with. I wouldn't say I'm okay with it not working. I'm okay with figuring out what needs to be improved and polished before we get to the 2004 release, and it needs to work.
Stability is overrated. So I mean, don't feel like it has to be like rock solid. Just put it out there.
But yeah, the thing is though, one of my core philosophies as a person is you ship the LTS and it needs to be
LTS
absolutely working.
Yeah.
Absolutely able to proudly maintain this thing for 3 years, which is what we maintain it for. So for 1404, it's a little bit weird because we say we maintained it for 3 years, but we never really said we stopped maintaining it. So we're technically still maintaining 1404. So
there's two things there. It could be one that may be if you can maintain it beyond that, even if it's unofficial, that's a competitive advantage. And then two, if you kind of hunker down on the options, like you could be the KDE without the option overwhelm. There's something there.
Because the Ubiquity is a code base that's been around since at least 2005. There's code in there that nobody around still knows what it does, and we're scared to touch it. And it's ancient code. Python 2, by the way, everything's Python 2. So
whoa, that's bad.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I really hope can benefit us, the move to Calamares, because Calamares is modular enough where you can write a module in either C++ with Qt, or you can write it in Python with PyQt, or you can just have simple Python scripts.
You can use Java as well.
No,
what is your thing with Java today?
Yeah.
True. One last thing, Simon, too, is like borrowing from GNOME and how they have, at least in the Fedora edition, they have that first class red carpet treatment of all your online accounts, just syncing upon your first initial login.
I'm tossing around that idea for sure. There's something, like I said, it's still all in my brain, and I'm still formalizing it yet. But I've been thinking about exactly.
There's something there. I think because we had Unity 8 that didn't pan out. They were trying to use Qt. We have Budgie that's trying to use
Unity 8 is still around though, because
that's true. Yeah.
I technically work part-time for UbiPorts. They're the person who flew me. They're the group who flew me out to Portland so I can keysign. They want Unity 8 and Mir in Debian so that they can become an official Ubuntu flavor. That's their end goal there, because I don't know if this is public yet, but OTA 4 for Ubuntu Touch ships tomorrow at.
It is public.
Yeah, it's
public.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I remember Dalton telling me in a private message earlier, and he's like, he was like,
heads up.
Yeah, heads up.
Surprise.
To the news channel and Matrix and a couple other places this evening.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's good news, but I have a hunch that because of all the work that you guys are really doing and the pace that you guys are holding to in this development work, you'll be way ahead, and Unity 8 will still be kind of sharpening what the edges on that thing. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, you guys will have a huge head start with a solid Qt environment that's not backed by KDE and all those things tied to it. And I think that's a huge competitive advantage. That could be very huge.
I would agree with you. I don't necessarily want to go tooting my own horn here, but I think it's what I'm doing here. It feels really special to me because, as somebody who, my upbringing to Linux really has been through contributing. You have some people who distro hop. You have people who just go around and do a bunch of different things. But really, how I learned Linux is through contributing and building a distribution. I started contributing to Ubuntu in August of 2015, August or July. I contributed a lot more, figured out how things were. now I'm the release manager in 2018. It was in August now, 2018, 3 years later, and I'm the release manager. I'm a core developer. It's how I learn things, and it feels really special to me that I could craft this and make it my own.
Yeah, and that's cool that you're because you have so many different hats. Like it's a double-edged sword because you're spread out, but at the same time you're picking up what you're learning from different conversations, and that is useful for the projects you're touching. So that's a lot of things going for Ubuntu and the people who are working on it. So kudos.
So what's this distro hopping you're talking about?
I never heard of that stuff.
I just want to point out that Chicken has a cool name too. Just saying. And welcome back to Biddle, Shane, after a few months of not being here.
Thanks for having me back.
Nice. I take it you didn't try Ubuntu.
No, right now I have no Arch on my systems. I'm on Ubuntu, but with the GNOME desktop.
So you used
all
to
that
run
time he was trying
Intergos,
to
right?
configure it to make it work.
Yeah.
You used to run Intergos?
Right now I'm not on Intergos because there's some strange issues happening with it right now that certain websites won't load in the
Sometimes
web
Arch happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't even get Intergos to install half the time. So
that it really went downhill, dude. I mean, it used to be really, really good. I don't know what happened, but it's gone downhill lately.
Yeah. But we haven't heard from
That's
Frank.
true. The name alone is a dirty word for my system.
Yeah. But Frank, what was your experience with Ubuntu? Can't
False
hear
audio.
you. No audio.
You might have to enter the audio thing. That's sort of messing with that first.
That's still Simon not fixed pulse. That's what that is.
You can blame that on Simon, Frank. It's okay. We all do anyway.
But one more thing I sort of want to say. Reading through the chat, I don't know if I caught something BSD related, and it sort of reminded me. For 1904, we're going to have the option. I leave legal to the canonical legal folks. The canonical legal folks say ZFS is distributable on Linux, so we're going to ship the option in Calamares. It's not going to be default. We're not going to have an easy button for it, but if you want to do partitioning with ZFS with Ubuntu, we'll let you do that.
That's good. That's really good. That's one of my reasons of not using ZFS is because currently actually installing and using a system on ZFS is not just doable with the installer.
Right. And I when I was in Portland, I talked to someone who apparently now it's not using the weird DKMS modules that would break every 5 seconds. Apparently it's solid now. Yeah.
That's great.
Apparently it's solid now. So of course I'm going to test it. Of course that's something I believe in. Test it before you ship it. If Canonical Legal, which is a legal department that has to deal with that sort of thing, if they think we should not ship it, then we will not ship it. That's fine by me. But if they're making it available in the Ubuntu archive and they say it's legal to ship, I'm going to trust them. I'm not a lawyer. It's my backup career if this IT thing doesn't work out. But
it's good to have a backup.
Yeah.
Always.
Backup plan.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have any more comments about Ubuntu?
Well, the more I hear Simon talk about it, the more I really want to try it. Him talking about, his vision and his goal.
That's how distro hopping happens.
You should try it. You should try it, Wendy.
Here's the disclaimer, because
so when it hits beta.
Yeah,
that's a good.
Yeah,
that's a good.
I was originally like, I don't know if I want you guys to try, because I don't know if it's ready enough that. Because here's the thing that I remember seeing the KD Neon channels. They were like, nobody should try Bionic yet. Don't try Bionic because we know there's issues. I had an argument with the guy because he was like, why don't you publish the instructions for testing? Why don't you have more eyes on it? And there's a certain stage in the development of a product where you're pre-alpha or alpha that there's glaring problems. You're working as fast as you can to fix them, and you don't know if it's ready yet to release to the public because every single person is going to say the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. And I think originally when I came on here and I said don't try it, I think we were at that point. But I'm at the point now where I'm open to feedback. I'm ready for people to try it. Yeah, I see there's issues. But eventually I think this is something that I'm going to open up a little bit more. That's when I published the whole. It was really good timing that Zed founded the whole. We want people to test every little inch of it because, seriously, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people to test corner cases, test their little setup, and if there's a problem, I want to fix it. So.
Yep.
It's happening. It's happening.
Yep.
Well, Wendy, you would probably like it because you like KDE, and it has that KDE feel without all of the extra stuff.
Yeah,
I won't say KDE's bloated because I like running KDE.
I used KDE on Kubuntu for a good 9 months in my whole go through. In fact, when Ubuntu was still using LXD, I think this was like 2016, 2017. I was on Kubuntu for a while, and then I figured out, like I said, it was too complex.
Yep.
But I think we can all agree, though. I think we can all agree that OpenBox is a better window manager than KWin. So,
no,
that's. I don't like their upstream direction of completely screw the whole X11 thing. Just when you still have distributions like Kubuntu on X11, like if you're going to have support built in, and I just that whole thing burned me with KWin. Like if you're going to only advertise Wayland support and you're going to say, oh, even though there's distributions using it, I'm only going to support this.
They still have like
fallback.
Yeah, you're not completely dead in the water. You're just not going to get future stuff with it, which I think is totally okay because the future is Wayland, whether we like it or not.
Here's the thing. EGL stream is the protocol that NVIDIA uses for Wayland. KWin does not support EGL stream.
Your key word there is NVIDIA, though.
Yeah, they don't have NVIDIA support. The main reason why I want to go with Mir instead of all other things, it's not because I'm a canonical shill, because believe me, we did Ubiquity for Calamares. We did a bunch of different things. If I was a canonical shill, it would be obvious. But
Mir is really the only way a lot of projects can go to support Wayland.
They have support for NVIDIA-based graphics cards with Wayland completely working. That's what I've heard. Unity 8 is using it with X. So they have Mir support, and then it's just X on the back end instead of Wayland on the back end. That's one of the other things I like about Mir. It's pretty modular, it seems. But of course, it has a team of they seems like 5 people on the team, and I met one of them at Linux Fest Northwest, and it seems like a project that has a future, especially because Mate is looking towards using it. I think that was public at one point. Now it's public. At one point, I was told it wasn't public, and I did.
I heard Martin say that.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of Mir.
Now that it's public,
Miracle.
They actually have somebody on the Mir team working on porting Mate. So part of that was, even after seeing that Mir is one of the clear options there, I was sort of like, challenge accepted. If they have a paid employee, why can't I have some of this too?
There's something about leapfrogging, or not so much leapfrogging, but seemingly leapfrogging, is like you're actually getting ready for that big shift instead of always playing catch up. Yeah. And we see that in projects a lot. So it's to catch the user base, you got to be where they are. I mean, there's that sports analogy. I think with Wayne Gretzky is like you don't have to be the strongest or the fastest. You just got to be where the puck is going to be at that time of interception. So there's something to be said about in a strategic sense, like of distributions and rolling out those things.
It's one of my biggest complaints about Linux as a whole is that we're always playing catch up, and it's nice to see that in some cases we're not.
Yeah, and the whole Mate thing, I think with 1810, Martin said, oh, there's not many new features. There's a new Mate stack, so they did some upstream improvements, but he really said he did not polish it at all. It makes me wonder, because I know he has that working in the background, but I wonder what else he has going on.
He's going to drop a Beyonce album.
He's ridiculous. He's always got something going on.
He's going to have the Mycroft voice sing Beyonce
well, I have a bigger problem right now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I am out of coffee.
Oh, no.
No, man.
It's ridiculous. Just saying. Throw it out there.
Simon, can you actually help him with that? Or
He can't even get Pulse Audio working, dude. What do you think he's going to do with coffee?
In the duration of this call,
Oh, wow, look at that.
thing. This is, I don't know if it shows it on here, but it's
44 or 50.
44 ounces. Yep. They have a 52 ounce, but I didn't feel like it.
Not today.
So, I like Simon, can you offhand know how much that cup holds?
This was only like $1, which is surprising. The whole thing was only like $1. Gotta love Quick Trip.
Yeah, that's why I love. We have Circle K's here.
Colin, go ahead.
Sudo apt install caffeine, Rocco.
No.
I'm on KDE. I don't need caffeine. So, Colin, you were asking earlier, you were going to start talking about fonts, and I told you to hold up until we started.
Those things I know nothing about, yeah. Well, actually, what I was going to mention was I don't really mess around with fonts whatsoever, but I do notice that in the GNOME desktop, even Ubuntu, that some of the applications, when you bring up the application full screen menu, you can't read all the names of the applications. Now, can changing fonts can sort that out or
not? Maybe. And maybe it's just your DPI settings, though. It could depend on that. Because when you scale to the full size of your screen and your DPI settings are basically going to apply to that mostly, that's when you'll actually see how effective they are. If your DPI settings are wonky, it doesn't. I mean, your font settings are going to be kind of screwy too.
Right.
So, Simon, did you leave, or did you just shut off your video?
He's
refill.
Back on Ubuntu.
He's probably going to get a refill. Yeah.
I wanted to ask him about him creating that thing I was talking about with the adjust the fonts up one rather than all of them at once, for crying out loud.
I'll go on about the whole fonts thing, though. I will just, I really hope, I haven't actually checked to see what font it is, or like what font it's going to be, but like it'd be nice to see Ubuntu actually use all the Ubuntu fonts, and I think they are, but I haven't actually checked.
Yep, I don't know either myself. All right, so has anybody tried the Steam Play?
I have not.
Really?
You know what, though? I did install Steam, download a game this week, so that's progress.
So, wait, I tried a few different games, and I was in heaven because I got Call of Duty World at War working natively. Well, not natively, but, through Steam Play.
Wasn't that released in, like, 2006?
Yes, it was. And it was the best Call of Duty ever because it was the last Call of Duty that had dedicated servers. And I was playing it. I was in heaven. And then I got so mad because I couldn't get Shadow of War playing. Because somebody has to help me out here. So with this new Steam Play thing, you can play games that are basically on Windows. But when you start Shadow of War, it's asking for a directory, which is normally your user directory in Windows, and then Documents and Warner Brother Games, and then you have your Shadow of War profile, basically. Well, I can't find the location to put that folder in, or even if it would work by just dropping that in the location.
It's possible.
Home folder.
So if it's looking for a specific location that would normally be in Windows, the chances are that it's under an emulated directory that Wine usually does.
Correct.
So it won't be in your normal .steam folder because that's not where Wine puts stuff. You need to look for where the Windows directories are being emulated and do it in there.
So
And that's normally
where is that?
That's normally in the .wine folder in your home directory.
But I don't have a .wine folder.
It's probably not using Wine.
Because you haven't got Wine installed. You're just
Correct.
using it via Steam.
So it's got its own.
That's why you probably got to install Wine, but then you might muck up the Steam side of it.
No, I've got this. I will do this right now.
It might be in your .steam folder under something else.
Oh, guys, Steam is updating.
I looked for the longest time, and there's one post in the Steam forums that talks about somebody just asking where the those folders are, where it saves the games, and it does give you a location. I go to that location, I add the folder, it doesn't do anything. It still has the same error. So I don't know if that's because it wouldn't work regardless, or if it's just that it's the wrong location. So somebody has to. That's everybody's assignment. Somebody has to figure that out this week.
I've got this
homework.
Okay.
I don't even have a Steam folder in my home directory. That's weird.
It should be .steamy.
.steam. Yeah, it's hidden.
Yeah.
I've gone for like 5 minutes. What did I do this time?
Simon, we're talking about fonts, and Chicken was
likes
asking.
Thomas Hands. We all know that. Yeah.
Chicken wants all Ubuntu fonts in Ubuntu. Okay.
Good.
All right. But my question is, okay, so when I go to a system, a lot of times there's, well, depending on the distro, it'll be 9 point or 10 point. I usually raise it. Okay.
Yeah.
Each separate thing, like window titles and monospaces, all different size fonts. A lot of them will have an adjust all fonts button, but that only allows you to go up. That only allows you to move every font to the same point, like move them all to 15. You need to write something so that you can adjust the fonts up 1 or 2, and they'll just automatically move. So they would stay equal to what they are. Like if monospace was 9 and window title was 10, you could just move it up 1, and monospace would be 10 and window title would be 11.
Yeah, but surely it's you just move them all up 1, or you move them all to 11, and then just move mono back down to 10. You've got 2 moves.
I don't
Rather
really
than Simon spending 3 months trying to write something.
I don't really catch your drift here. Like I don't understand. I've never seen.
Yeah, there are.
How often do you adjust your fonts, though, Rocco? I mean,
I'm saying he should write a distro agnostic program so that you can adjust the fonts. Boom. That's it.
There are some font managers out there, Simon, where you can go to the top and you say adjust all fonts, and then you can pick, is it the font type or the font size, and you can say put everything to 12.
Right.
You then have to go back in and specifically put the small to 2 points less. What Rocco wants to be able to do is whatever your points are set up, say they're set up at 10, 10, 8, 9, 7, 8, 7,
It
you
keeps
just
the ratio.
go +1 and they all just go up 1.
Telegram me that so I can remember that. So telegram me the specifics and so I can.
There you go, Rocco.
Poor Simon.
Oh, and did you ever get the chance to telegram me those details about your wallpaper setup?
What wallpaper setup? What are we talking about?
Colin.
Colin.
Yeah, because like I said, that bug sounds very, very familiar.
Did you, Colin? Come on, Colin. You're muted, Colin.
What was that? Sorry.
Welcome back, Colin.
No, I was just saying that all the Ubuntu, all the fonts in Ubuntu are 11 at the moment.
Yeah, I would see. Yep, that sounds
and
about
they're Ubuntu
right.
fonts. They're all Ubuntu fonts.
Right, because we have a global configuration option for that. Yep.
Good job.
And I've just realised why I've got no .steam folder.
Why? You haven't
I haven't
Steam
got
installed?
That's a problem. Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. Did somebody have issues? Wasn't somebody had issues with Steam on Ubuntu?
I didn't try it.
I didn't try it, to be honest with you.
It was Zeb. Zeb was the one having Steam
Okay.
issues.
Could you describe your issues with Steam? Because I don't use Steam myself. I don't play games. I mean,
he doesn't enjoy fun.
It doesn't. It didn't matter how I installed it. Whether I just enabled the canonical repositories for their partners or whatever it was, or whether I downloaded the deb file, it came back with a load of dependency issues. And I sent you a huge log file via, because I couldn't do it just in Telegram because it was like 8,000 bits long, but it was every single thing that I had done in my terminal to try and get Steam installed, and all of the dependencies that it says were missing. And it was a paste bin link, so it should still be in your Telegram folder.
Yeah, could you resend that to me so I can figure out exactly what you're talking about?
Yeah, sure. 2 secs.
Because if it's a bunch of dependency issues, that makes me wonder. Yeah, that's a tough one because we were just going to figure out. I remember seeing a removal bug for Steam in 1804, so just completely removed from the archive because apparently the debs from Steam are much more up to date. Or I don't know if I don't remember if we had a snap or something like that. A chicken. Do you remember if Ike had some snap he was working on for some Steam thing?
It wasn't Steam entirely snapped, but it was some environment assistant snap that kind of like made it to where it could more directly communicate with the hardware that's running on for.
Wasn't it his Steam integration tool thing?
Yeah.
I thought it was absorbed by the project.
What was absorbed?
Yeah, I think so.
What he was working on. It's a separate thing.
Well, Budgie was, but the Snap for Steam integration itself should still be. As far as I know.
Is there like a flat pack or snap or something for Steam that I can just ship instead? You know,
the problem is when I'm pretty sure that when you use a snap or a flat pack of Steam,
okay,
it doesn't put the stuff in the right folders.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure
don't have the proper ability to access folders and stuff like that you would really need to use for additional Steam directories. Just snaps and flat packs are inherently broken because of their security focused design.
Does anyone actually use the deb directly from Steam on an Ubuntu based thing? Do you know if they add like some sort of PPA or repository?
I can
just do like a sudo apt update and see if they have anything in there, or check etc apt sources.list.d or something like that. Because if that's a repository I can just enable and then install Steam from there, then that would be much better than having to monkey around with backporting it myself in PPA.
Well, I'm just installing Steam now, so
okay.
And I've got Steam installed on Ubuntu. There's a .steam folder, is that right? Should that be right?
.steam, yeah, that's the Steam folder.
Yeah, there's a .steam.
Yeah, it's hidden.
Once you open Steam up, it'll create that, I guess.
No, I've only updated the client, but I haven't installed anything though.
Yeah, no, the Steam thing itself doesn't appear to add any PPAs. The only thing it's interested in installing, for me anyway, is libgl1 -mesa -glx :i386.
Yeah, but
that's the only thing it does.
No, it does add a repo.
Oh, does it?
It adds repo.steampower.com.
Could you could you find that repo in /etc/apt/sources.list.d, that directory? They should have a thing right in there. If you could find that specific thing, if you can telegram that to me.
Sources.list.
Sources. So etc apt sources.list.d.
.d. Okay, yeah. Oh, it literally shows nothing. Oh, it's a directory. Hold on.
Yeah.
/steam.list. There we go.
Yeah, could I get that file?
Yes, I will give that to you right now.
Meanwhile, while you guys are there, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
I had to go to a different computer. Sorry about that, guys.
It's all good. Let me guess. You were trying Ubuntu. You were trying to do it from Ubuntu?
No, I was doing it from another machine on Arco Linux, and I don't have a microphone, and I was trying to use the onboard microphone on the webcam. So
okay. So, where's your opinion at? Did you try Ubuntu?
I did, and no offense to Simon, I tried it on 3 different machines.
Okay.
It installed properly, no problem. The Falcon browser needs to go.
Okay.
Anytime I used it,
crashing constantly, didn't you?
What?
Did Falcon crash constantly for you?
Yes. Each and every time I open up Falcon, go to Google, do a search, and then from then on, you can't use Falcon because you open it up and it just crashes.
I cannot figure this out. It's
the other thing I had an issue with, I was able to install my printer, which surprised the heck out of me on this one.
Okay.
I was able to. I even installed Steam, Zeb. It worked.
Nice.
I didn't download any games, so I had the client up.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing I had an issue with was I installed Chromium in place of Falcon.
Okay.
And then for some reason, it would operate for 20 minutes of searches, doing various little things, testing things. and then it would go into a tearing business. I mean, I would open up a page and my driver would just, and this is on all three computers, so I mean, I don't think it was hardware specific.
Right. So what is it? Did you install the Snap or did you install the Deb? Because like I said, Canonical no longer, the desktop team no longer focuses on the Deb at all. So if you had problems with Chromium, it's likely because you didn't use the Snap. As much as I don't like snaps, as much as I don't like that whole thing, it's what it is, you know?
Yeah, and one of the machines, you install it, and the only way I could boot it up is to keep my USB stick in the computer. If I took the USB stick and tried to boot up the machine, it would never load up the operating system at all. Otherwise, I didn't have any issues other than that. I mean, I knew it was beta. I was loading my eCloud drive easily, my Dropbox drive easily. I mean, I was kind of happy with it just playing around.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. You know, I'm happy.
I'm curious. The ad block thing in Falcon, what's that about?
It's a built-in ad block.
I would say that's definitely touching some boundaries there, but I'll let it slide.
What about it is wrong now, Chicken?
Chicken, I'm sorry, it just doesn't look like Minecraft. I know.
Oh my gosh. Well, no. I want to hear what Chicken has to say on that.
So while I don't personally make any revenue from ad-based stuff, while I do agree that in a lot of cases ads are bad because they are improperly implemented, you are actually affecting the revenue stream of creators on behalf of users without their direct decision to do so. I know it sounds terrible because most of the web is filled with people who don't actually understand how ads should work, and they make terrible decisions that completely destroy your experience. You are having an impact on ad revenue for content creators who do benefit from it.
Yeah, I have AdBlock installed on my system.
And I get that. I'm just saying that if you're going to do that on behalf of the users, that doesn't quite add up.
I have mixed feelings on that. I'll bring it up for discussion in the team, but I have mixed feelings about it. I think it should not. I think it should be enabled by default, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, because I haven't enabled it by default in my system. But I can understand your point. So,
It's a rocky road, though, where you're going down to you're making decisions for the users based upon your use case scenario.
Yeah, that's sort of why I say me personally, because if it was completely up to me, I would if I was the only user of Ubuntu, AdBlock installed by default. I don't care, but I have to sort of consider the use cases for this.
I mean, have the facilities there, but I suppose, and I didn't want to bring it up, I'm going to have to, but it's like single click or double click. It's such a preference as to what you use.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to use double click, go right ahead, but single click's so much better.
I definitely think that having an ad block there is definitely a good thing for a few reasons. Maybe not necessarily having it enabled, or maybe having it it's kind of hard to specifically whitelist sites when there are so many of them, or blacklist sites when there are so many of them. But it does help performance for the most part, unless it has to process more than it's getting rid of. But I definitely think having it there is good as an option, just because in some cases it's necessary. And sometimes you can't even read a website when it has ads on it. So there's such pros and cons to having ads enabled or disabled that it's hard to just outright say, no.
Hey, I'm a capitalist, and I love it. I love capitalism, but sometimes I just don't want to click on, get rid of the ad every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember when YouTube used to have that? It used to have like the little banner ad on the video.
They still do.
Yeah, some do.
Huh.
Do
Not for me.
you use ad block,
No.
Chicken?
No, I only use ad block when I'm recording because sometimes because that ad is displayed on my video and I don't want to have that kind of but two, because you never know what kind of ad will start playing audio or video. So only when I'm recording or when the ad content of that website violates any of my standards, which are overlaying the actual content itself, playing audio or video without me clicking on it.
Yeah, that's the only time I ever use ad block is when I record.
To the point where it doesn't work.
I use uBlock Origin, and that clears all that stuff up for me. That's probably why I don't see any of those pop-up ads anymore. Where you have to, because I used to hate the ones where you used to try and chase the X around the screen and you could never quite get to it.
Yeah.
As somebody that can sympathize with people that build websites and these people trying to make money with their ad revenue, just out of principle, I look at the ads. If it's a site that's just obnoxious with ads, I just don't visit that site. Like if it puts me off so bad that so.
These local news networks are
terrible.
just can't even for 2 seconds. I can't even process it. It's just ridiculous. It's I can't even. And then
what I don't really like is going on YouTube and watching. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. It's my entertainment, and I constantly get ads from YouTube. Hey, if you don't want to have any ads, pay for YouTube Advance or Red or
Red. That's what I do.
Bother me. What I think is really upsetting about that is people who advertise through YouTube have channels that they need to go to advertise with a video or to advertise on the side or with a banner. And the issue is that YouTube, because it's their platform, they say, well, we'll put these advertisements wherever we want because it's our platform. And rather than advertising where everyone else has to advertise, we'll put it everywhere on the webpage we want. And why don't you use the channels that you set for other people and taste your own medicine? Because that's ridiculous.
It's like if you had YouTube Red, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
I do actually have that. I just realized that's why I don't have ads, and I didn't even realize that.
Yep. But that's a good way to allow people to actually get the money for the ad and still not see them. So
that's true. I do think. I wish it was available in more places, but
yeah, it should be available worldwide, but it isn't.
I think.
All right, so we have to pick a distro for next week.
I think we should pick Simon's competitor that he won't name. If he would name it and tell us all to run it.
Yeah, Simon, it's just us.
Really quick.
It's only it's only us here.
That way we can compare.
Yeah.
And if there's a problem with Pulse Audio, he can fix it.
That's it. After he gets the font issue down, we're good.
Guys, I hear Deepin has a new release.
Oh no, not again.
And they got categories in the menu now. In the
Any
menu.
suggestions? So it's Deepin.
Okay, Dark One is not here, but he had quite a good suggestion, I thought, because I don't think it's ever been thought of before.
That is total an oxymoron there.
No. Bodhi Linux.
Yeah, I'd love to do that one too. That's a nice distro.
Bodhi Linux.
Bodhi Linux with his Moshka / whatever that enlightenment.
Let's all use Gparted Live.
No.
Yes. No. Seriously, let's all do it. Let's do it.
I have Gparted Live. I use it.
Tiny core.
Puppy.
I fix other people's computers with Gparted Live sometimes. So
it's tough to live there.
Someone who was very smart just said puppy.
And just to save you all a lot of time, if you do Bodhi Linux, don't bother because it doesn't fire up. It doesn't work.
Honestly, anything that has proper online accounts integration would be totally welcome. Because so far, the only thing I see doing that are Budgie.
No, actually, I've found out that KDE.
No, it's garbage. It's absolutely garbage. You can sign
Sorry.
You can sign into your accounts, but they don't do anything. They don't.
Don't they? Okay.
Rocco, I'll tell you what would be an interesting one. Pick a number between 1 and 100.
And we'll go on distro watch.
Pick a number between 1 and 100. Just randomly pick a number.
Come on,
a random
no,
number chooser.
That's going to be bad, Zeb.
You gotta get a dartboard. That's
Actually, just hit the random chooser on DistroWatch. It'll choose a random distro.
Oh, they have one.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Bodhi Linux? Can we do Bodhi Linux or not?
I couldn't get it to even start.
Oh,
Here's
really?
crazy.
Well, that would be so cool to do a distro challenge on that because we haven't done that before.
On what?
Bodhi?
Did a
On
whole
Bodhi.
distro challenge where nobody could get it installed.
But the Antergos challenge was pretty close.
I
Well,
was gonna say we've been close a couple times.
that's like years ago, ain't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for this number, Rocco. Let's make it interesting. It's got to be between 50 and 100.
oh
yeah.
man, you're going way low though, Zeb. We
Wow.
need to be up in the, we need to be up and down
First
in the
20.
lower
Hey,
numbers. Yeah.
chicken.
There's some
mention
after
Recorded
100.
live because it's on distro watch.
Yeah.
Pick 22. Pick 22.
All right. So look, Bodhi Linux is one
We just did
suggestion.
Ubuntu.
Here's
Zeb-
another suggestion. Unity, anything Unity 8.
I'm gonna pick 29. What is it?
Arch Labs.
Arch Labs.
Oh no! Wait. What?
I won't do it.
30 so we can do Slackware.
I mean, that's
you
right
were
up
one
my
off.
alley. So-
You were close, Rocco. If you'd have picked 28, that'd have been deep in.
It's a sign.
Okay, so we have a Bodhi Linux suggestion. We have an Arch Labs suggestion. Anybody else?
Unity 8.
But there's no
Unity.
Unity 8.
You're not going to get that to.
Maybe once it's an
Work with.
Ubuntu flavor, we can try it out. But otherwise,
Yeah, once Simon actually makes a window manager distro for
Wow.
yeah. Where's that i3?
I should tell you about that. Yes, we're gonna make Ubuntu tiling. It's a joke because
It's a
I think
joke.
I met 3 or 4 different people from Canonical while I was in Portland. Every single one of them uses i3 on 1804. Every single one of them. So even Dustin Krysek from Ubuntu Budgie, he uses i3. He doesn't use Ubuntu Budgie. He uses i3.
Gideon uses
Walter
i3.
Lapchinsky uses awesome window manager.
Yeah.
And don't forget Sway.
That's cool.
Xmonad.
Sway, yes,
Because
yes,
Wayland.
exactly. So do you guys know about Sway?
Swayland.
Yeah.
Sway is a completely i3, so you can completely migrate your i3 config over, completely feature compatible with i3. It's Sway is Wayland i3.
No, look, I tell you what, I bought
Way
myself a mouse. I'm going to use my mouse. I bought one.
Can we try Ubuntu Chillin or Kylin?
Kylan,
I
It's
speak.
chilling.
it's chilling, isn't it? It is chilling, I believe. What about Q4 OS?
Yeah, it's a nice one too. It's Debian. It's a Trinity, the desktop Trinity.
Oh.
But what's interesting about Q4 OS is you can actually take the latest version and then stick Plasma 5 on it.
Yeah, you could, but that kind of defeats the purpose of having a light and fast distro to.
I think Trinity in general.
Present Arms said we should try his distro.
PC Linux OS.
Yeah,
Trinity.
he uses the Trinity on his PC Linux OS spin. Yeah,
PC Linux OS. I haven't tried that.
What do you
for
think
a
about that?
yeah, it's a good
Well, the
distro.
last time
I've
I
looked
tried-
at it. Yeah.
The last time I tried to use it, they had no support for Steam, but he's saying he's got Steam working on his, so you'll have to issue instructions because I'm not having any distro that doesn't work with Steam.
Tyler suggested a distro which was a CubeZoa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No.
Derek, do you have a link for Present Arms distro?
I should. Yeah, let me.
Is that's not the one on Distro Watch or is it different again?
No,
Is it
I don't
PC?
think
No,
he's listed on.
Yeah, his is different, I think.
Oh, his is different, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is going very
Yeah,
well.
I got it.
Yeah, if you can post that for everybody, we'll take a look at it. Maybe we'll just try that because that's something different.
So Gentoo it is.
We'll let that up to English Bob. He can take care of the Gen 2.
Let's see.
Him and Serge.
Well, you guys check that out. FOSCon was pretty fun. Me and
Yes.
Matt went.
So tell us about it, dude.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, real quick. So it's about 100, 120 people. It was at the International House of Philadelphia. and great location, really cool people, and it's funny when it comes to those Linux conferences. It's the workshops are definitely interesting and intriguing, but also it's like what's the reason why we go to those things? Is it for the workshops and the sessions, but also, or is it the chance to be surrounded by the craziness of people who are passionate about Linux and the conversations you have in between sessions and stuff like that? Actually, me and Matt got caught up with some people from Freedom Box and the Plug user group. We had a big debate / conversation about various systems and how problem solving something. And it was just like, it's hard to get that. You get that in Telegram and different communities, but it was nice to be in person and getting that. So it was really cool. So if you ever get a chance to go to these conferences, and it's hard for me to do that, it's so worth it. So no matter where you are, try to go to them.
Curious to see how big the conference is, because I've been to Linux Fest Northwest, which is like 1,500 people. I've been to Self, which is like 500, so a third of the size. How big are we talking here?
It's very small. It's maybe 150 max.
If you guys
Very
want to know
small.
how dangerous Linux conventions are, I was going to go to one and I ended up in a hospital. So,
yeah.
So there, yeah.
Well, when
Yeah,
you
especially
go in
this
there
one in
and
Philadelphia.
break rules in a Linux Fest, you're bound to be hit,
But seriously, you guys, I've been in Linux Fest Northwest and Self. Everybody should probably, if you have not been to a Linux conference before, it's honestly, it's something you need to do. Like,
it's wonderful.
I really want to go to Self next year.
No,
I wanted to go to FalseCon, but I couldn't make it.
Oh,
yeah, it was nice. There's a trade off. Like I heard the big ones tend to be enterprise facing, the smaller ones tend to be more hobbyist facing.
I would never probably. I don't know if I'd go to Scale. I don't know if I would go to like a Linux Con in Vancouver.
Are you telling me you don't like OpenSUSE on commercial grade applications?
But Noah Troy recently did a really good episode with Jeremy Stans from Self. They're opening things up, and it's Self 2019 is going to be interesting. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Great location. They have great barbecue. Really, really great barbecue. I got to sit down with some people.
I love North Carolina.
I've got to learn a completely different language, but it's okay.
Cherry wine.
I live in Portland, Oregon. I wanted to go to Linux Fest Northwest, and I didn't get to go. So
yeah, you really should go to. I don't care if it's Linux Fest Northwest or Self or whatever conference you go to. If it's between 2,000 and 100 people, I'd say go to it. But
someone else who was hospitalized by Linux Fest Northwest, by the way. There you go.
You decided to eat oysters. Why?
They were good. Okay, they were good when I ate them.
They weren't good afterwards.
Yeah, not so good later.
At least they were good when you ate them, because if it's beef.
But I actually met Gideon at Self. I think we took a picture, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. If we can get together at some point. I met Das Geek at Self. I met Michael Tennell at Self. He came down for that. And then I usually stay with some people in Linux Fest Northwest, which, being in the Midwest, you don't understand how flat it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything is just flat. You go to Portland. I was in Portland. You go to Seattle, Bellingham, wherever, hills all over. It's amazing.
Beautiful.
yeah, well, there are hills. I mean, off to the east we got the Cascades, and off to the west we got the Coast Range. So what are you going to do?
Hey, living in the Midwest, it's something different. We have the same kind of tree everywhere. It feels like.
I know. I have relatives in Nebraska, so I understand.
Speaking of Michael, like I presented for RosCon, and I was using KD Neon, and I was getting so nervous because the projector screen TV thing that they had in their room mislabeled the inputs that you had to switch to, and VGA wasn't working. And I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, please, not again!" If it happened to Michael, and he had issues with his projector, and I'm running KDE Neon, and I'm having issues, it's not going to be a good look for KDE Neon.
This is why you use HDMI.
Did your mic run out of batteries?
No, it did not. I used my phone to audio record in the background as a backup, and so.
Did anybody record the video of it?
Actually, yeah, we had one guy from the conference. He was recording it. I don't know what the quality is or how fancy they got with it, but worst case scenario is I can just do the audio, throw it on a video capture of the PowerPoint presentation or the Google Slides presentation. You might hear a chuckle in the back when I'm mentioning some scenarios or examples, because I do like I did a breakout scenario where people were giving feedback, because I like my workshops to be like interactive, and some of the examples I had like the names of the Destination Linux hosts. So Rocco, you were featured in the scenario. Brian was featured in the scenario. Zeb was featured in the scenario, and they're like, silly examples of just like some marketing or whatever, but it was my way to kind of slide it in there. And Matt was there. He was like kind of chuckling in the back, so you might hear that.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
All right, so we gotta decide what we're gonna try this week. Is it gonna be Trinity?
And when I see you at all at Self 2019, you're all gonna be running Ubuntu, right?
Of course, Simon. Sure.
So elementary LS is out.
Self or Linux Fest Northwest. Come on, one of the two. Pick one.
When you see me at Self, I'll be running Ubuntu.
Pick Self.
Whatever year that may be, I don't know. But
whatever's in North Carolina, I'll be to that one because I love Cherry One.
Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina. Yep. Self.
So we've got two links here. One is the Trinity Desktop PC Linux OS, and the other one is just
that's the one to present ARMS.
That's the one. You want the Trinity one, not the KDE 5.
Not the KDE 5.
That just takes you straight to PC Linux.
So we want the Trinity one.
So are everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Try anything once.
All right.
Hey, Rocco, I really appreciate your emailing me about the icy dock. I was able to get it fixed. I just sprayed some contact cleaner, and now I can eject my drives at will, so it's great.
Well, now I have to take mine out and take it apart and put some contact cleaner on it so I can.
And then if you got a spare laptop drive, I pushed it in and out like 20 times on each dock, and it smoothed it right out.
Nice. Well, Zeb was having the same issue.
Yeah, and it took me 3 months to put mine in, so I'm not taking it out anytime soon.
I usually solve my problems.
I actually took mine apart, and it was very easy to put back together, so it's not that hard.
But I think for the two distribution choices, I usually don't hop at all, but I've never tried Trinity. I heard when it was originally starting up that they were just forking KDE 3 and Qt 3, and I was thinking, God, no, please don't reintroduce KDE 3 and Qt 3 into the archive. Like, please don't. It's enough of a hassle. Like, having a whole major version of Qt in the archive, you have like easily 1,000 things that depend on it. If you want to remove that from the archive, it takes some effort. But I was like, man. But I hope it's better now. I hope that they actually.
I think you'd be impressed with it, yeah, because I mean it's still a fantastic desktop environment, but it boots in like 200 megabytes of RAM. I mean it's
about what
crazy low.
But yeah.
Nice. All right, so it'll be Trinity PC Linux OS. Anybody in the chat wants to try it as well? Derek threw up a link for it. Yeah, if you want to post. Oh, it was? Well, post the link in.
Post
the link in.
Yeah, this is the one you want, the trinity.mypclinuxos.
That's the one, yeah.
So if anybody wants to try it with us, you're more than welcome to. And you can give us your feedback in the chat next week, or you can come on Zoom if you like and give us your feedback. But we are about to wrap it up because it is 12:24 already. Wow. So last words for everybody. Chicken?
Hi.
That's not a last word.
I wasn't prepared.
You just happened to be the first one in line, so
didn't have his speech prepared.
He didn't.
Yeah, good.
Elementary
good
OS
happening. I've been using GNOME, so there you go.
GNOME.
Wow.
Really?
Get those accounts things situated, Simon, and I'll be on Ubuntu.
I will. Yeah.
And I've been on a crazy
calendar.
research.
Say again?
That includes the calendar.
Yep.
Calendar? Okay. What were you saying, Prophet?
I was saying some people have been kind of like been more forgiving than usual with GNOME the past couple weeks. And it's been a nice turnaround, so you'd be surprised.
Yeah. Well, okay, before we go on, what do you think of GNOME?
Jesus Christ. Listen, man. I here's the thing. I've done the research. I've been really obsessed with trying to understand because GNOME can't be this big by accident. There has to be something, and I kind of see it now. And for work, it's kind of a dream to go with the overview and window switching and all that stuff. I ran into some issues with like trying to run something on the filing system and the customizations, and it locks you in a default terminal thing. But other than that, though, it's really been, I get it. I kind of see what they're trying to do. And if you're not a power user, and I don't think they're really trying to cater to power users. It gets the pass for me. Like as I get what they have a vision, they're trying to go towards it, and I kind of like the ease of use. And I don't know.
And there's
I'm more forgiving.
There's a new extension out that you can put desktop icons back. So,
well, Prophetic,
yes.
you know when you're
I did see that.
Prophetic, you know when you're driving a really nice car that costs a lot of money and you park in 2 spaces so no one touches it? That's why GNOME is so big.
Yeah, that's like the chalk in it. You put asshole parking next to the car.
That's how your car gets keyed too.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly how it happens.
Not from experience or anything.
All right, so again, last word, Chicken.
He's prepared.
No. Yes, check out Elementary OS Juno when it does come out. I know all of you guys are so hyped for it, and everybody will.
Can't wait.
Wait. Everybody from media should review it now while it's still in beta, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah, that's what we want.
Oh,
that's
yeah, totally.
No, we're not allowed to do that.
Right on.
I've already banned Colin. I told him he's off YouTube if he does that.
PZ, last word.
Oh, what we got?
Team Green for the win.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
This blows the Vega 64 out the window.
I have a bunch of graphs to prove otherwise.
145 frames per second on ETS, and Vega could only hit 90.
Wow.
Nice. And how much does that cost comparatively?
It was 150 pounds cheaper. I got that one for 399 pounds.
Cool.
But do you get 700 FPS in Minecraft, Seb?
I have no idea what Minecraft is. It looks very blocky, so I won't be playing it.
Dan, last word.
Lubuntu was a dream. It was a lot of fun. And I've got to get me one of those cool names too.
Yes, you do. We got to come up with one. Colin, last word.
Lubuntu. I will continue to use it and watch its progression.
Nice. Wendy, last word.
I did go ahead and try Steam, and I probably tried the oldest game of anyone on here. I fired up Sega Bass Fishing on the new
nice.
Kids love it.
But how did it work?
Great. It's
Nice.
worked absolutely wonderful.
I use that with my daughter. That sounds good.
I'll use Steam as soon as they get SimCoaster working on there. If somebody gets SimCoaster working on Linux, I will pay you like $100. This is I'm not joking about this. Get SimCoaster working.
Let's see. How much does
I feel like I
SimCoaster
should tell you
cost
something,
first?
Simon.
I could
Remember
buy
the
it and
last
still
time
make
you-
money.
Me?
Yep.
No. I have a physical CD. I have a physical CD that's sitting next to me at all times.
Simon's mentioned that to me before, and I feel like I should have told him that it does work.
It doesn't work. No. This thing does not work. Does not work.
I've actually played it on Linux.
No.
Yeah. You told me about it. You told
No,
me.
he hasn't because
Dude,
he doesn't get the $100. That's so not cool.
No. Okay, I will send you.
He's trolling you for the $100.
All my
Yes.
comments.
Chicken.
I want a
Post
video
on
proof,
YouTube for
Chicken.
proof.
I will send you all my comics. No, because he's messaged me before about SimCoaster 3, and I've got you.
Yeah. Wait,
You
no.
both
SimCoaster.
wine
the original
and-
SimCoaster.
Okay, SimCoaster. Okay, I'll work on that one. I did 3 though.
It's not the same, man. It's
Okay,
not the
all right.
same.
I'll get it.
This thing, it is not the same as this wonderful game.
So, Chicken, that's your $100 challenge.
All right, Simon, focus like a laser beam. Last word.
Lubuntu.me, M-E, not Lubuntu.net. It's stories for another day. But try Lubuntu, install Lubuntu on all the computers. Tell me how it runs. Tell me how bad NVIDIA is on a scale from it sucks every time to it's unusable. You know? It's NVIDIA. Yeah. But no, seriously, it's install Ubuntu, try Ubuntu, and once 18.10 comes out, I'm curious to see more general widespread feedback on it. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Prophetic, last word.
If you can, try to support your local user groups or Linux user groups. It's great to be all digital in chat rooms and IRCs, but I think there's something special that can happen when you come together and solve problems and just have that good live interaction. So support your local Linux user groups, and hopefully they actually run Linux.
Nice.
I actually just founded my local Linux group.
Nice.
Awesome.
Spreading the word.
Cool.
Gideon, last word.
It was a great first stream. It was great to meet you all, and Arch for the win.
Oh my
Arch for the
gosh, Arch
win.
for the win.
Ouch.
Well,
Wow.
Good to meet you.
hopefully we'll see you back here next week.
You
Or
will?
not.
Yeah,
All
don't
right.
update.
Or not. Derek, last word.
Manjaro Master Race. Oh. Okay.
Arch guy. Oh my gosh. What are we gonna
She's representing today.
do? Frank, last word.
Well, Chicken says elementary every stream. So.
It's true. Frank.
I look forward to the next challenge. Gideon, I agree with you because I run Arco Linux as my primary driver, and that's Arch, and I love it. And I've just had to reinstall on this laptop and another computer. But I'm going to try this Trinity, and I might go back to the Lubuntu. I still have the distro, and I might play with it a little bit more because one thing I forgot to mention to you, Simon, the one thing I notice is when I go to the software center, it's the slowest software center I've ever seen.
It's Discover.
It's Discover. It's see that's one of the points of just using Discover, because we had the Ubuntu Software Center in like 2011, something like that, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to ever write another software center again. Please no. Just let the Plasma folks do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's their thing.
That's the only minor criticism I have, but I'll keep playing with it a little bit just to keep my hand in it, because you guys are all trying to convert me to KDE, and hey.
Yes, you should be.
I run OpenBots right like Derek does.
Oh my gosh! All right, that'll wrap it up for us. My last word is thank you, Simon, for reaching out to the community and being open to the feedback. I appreciate it, because it's not everybody that does that.
No problem. I mean, just as long as you keep sending constructive criticism, I'll hear it.
And you got to get on Steam, Simon. You got to get on Steam.
Someone get Sim Coaster working.
Simon, check the thing I just sent you. I've got you. I'm actively working on it.
Oh my God!
I'll get you.
I'm bringing this to the destination of the next group, because you guys have to see this.
So Simon, you keep on taking care of us. We'll take care of you, buddy.
Yep. All right, that'll wrap it up for us. Thank you all for showing up, and we will try out Trinity PC Linux this week, and we'll see you next week to see how it went.
All right, it was fun. Peace, guys.
Good night, folks.
Yep. Good night, all.
Guys.
Good night, all.